Welcome. When you picture the justice system, you probably imagine stern judges and predictable punishments. But what if, instead of jail, a judge handed down a sentence so bizarre it sounds like a prank? Tonight, we're diving into the world of alternative sentencing, where punishments are as creative as they are controversial. From public humiliation to musical torture, these real-life cases will make you question everything you know about justice. Get ready for the strange, the embarrassing, and the utterly surreal. Let's start with a classic public shaming by sign. Some judges skip jail and instead hand you a cardboard sign and a spot on a busy street. Imagine being forced to stand outside a restaurant with a sign reading, "I don't tip my servers." The embarrassment is the point. Your crime becomes public, personal, and unforgettable. For offenders, it's a lesson burned into memory. For the community, it's a living warning. Don't be this person. The logic, humiliation as deterrence. You'll think twice before repeating your mistake. But is it justice or just cruelty? Critics say public shaming can cause lasting psychological harm, ruining reputations and lives. Take the Ohio woman sentenced to hold a sign saying, "Only an idiot would drive on the sidewalk to avoid a school bus." She became a target for public rage. The punishment worked. If the goal was to make her infamous, these sentences force us to ask, is justice about rehabilitation, or just satisfying the crowd's thirst for retribution? Public shaming is justice at its rawest. You did wrong, and now everyone knows. But where's the line between clever punishment and state-sanctioned bullying? The debate rages on, but one thing's certain, you'll never forget the day you held that sign. For some, it's a wake-up call. For others, it's a scarlet letter that never fades. Either way, it's a punishment you, and your community, won't fight for. The question remains. Does it truly change behavior, or just create new outcasts? In the end, public shaming is a gamble, one that can teach or destroy, and that's why it's still one of the most controversial sentences in the book. If holding a sign isn't embarrassing enough, how about picking up trash in a chicken suit? Some judges add a theatrical twist, humiliating costumes for community service. The infamous chicken suit is reserved for crimes of cowardice or recklessness. Picture it. You're cleaning highways, sweating in feathers, as everyone laughs and snaps photos. The costume is the punishment. No one sees a good citizen, just a giant chicken. It's poetic justice, cartoon style. Steal a pizza, dress as a slice, act like a donkey. You get the idea. The goal, make the memory so mortifying you'll never re-offend. These punishments go viral, amplifying the shame far beyond the street corner. Supporters say it's a non-violent, memorable alternative to jail that saves money and cleans up the community. Critics argue it turns justice into a circus, focusing on ridicule over real rehabilitation. Does a day as a chicken teach empathy, or just breed resentment? The line between creative sentencing and public spectacle is thin. For some, it's a lesson they'll never forget. For others, it's just degrading. Either way, the message is clear. Break the law, and you might end up the main act in the weirdest show in town. These sentences are designed to stick with you, and everyone who sees you. But do they change hearts, or just humiliate? The debate continues, feathered and loud. One thing's for sure, you'll never look at a chicken suit the same way again. Justice sometimes is a very strange performance, and in this courtroom, dignity is strictly optional. Welcome to the theater of the absurd. Not all creative sentences are public spectacles. Some judges prefer punishment by pen. Instead of jail, offenders are ordered to write essays, apologies, or even book reports. Vandalize a building? Write a 10,000-word essay on its history and the impact of graffiti. Desecrate a nativity scene? Write a heartfelt apology to the church. The goal force offenders to reflect, research, and confront the harm they caused. In one case, a man who harassed his ex online had to write one nice thing about her every day for a month. It's empathy by assignment, rehabilitation through forced introspection. Critics question the sincerity. Can you force someone to be sorry or just to fake it? Judges bet that the process, thinking, writing, apologizing, can spark real change. These sentences cost nothing, but can produce something valuable, understanding, closure, maybe even redemption. It's justice as homework, not handcuffs. For some, it's a chance to make amends. For others, just another box to check. But it's a creative attempt to use words, not walls, to change behavior. Reflection over retribution. Can it work? Sometimes the pen really is mightier than the prison, and sometimes it's just a really long essay. Either way, it's a sentence you'll remember. What if the crime is ignorance, not malice? Some judges prescribe school, highly specific court-ordered classes. Rude to a court clerk, you're off to etiquette class. Caught poaching deer, watch Bambi every month for a year. The idea, target the root cause, bad manners, lack of empathy, poor self-control. Offenders have been sent to anger management, creative writing, even forced to live in their own neglected apartments. It's justice as self-improvement, not just punishment. But, does a single class really change a lifetime of bad habits? Critics say it's optimistic, maybe even overreaching. Judges as social engineers. Where's the line between correcting behavior and remolding personality? Still, for some, these lessons stick. For others, it's just another hoop to jump through. The hope, fix the flaw, prevent the crime. The risk, it's just a temporary fix. In the end, it's a noble experiment, one that blurs the line between punishment and personal growth. Sometimes the best sentence is a lesson learned, and sometimes it's just detention for grown-ups. Some sentences aren't about doing, but forbidding, bizarrely specific bans. Get in a fight at McDonald's, you're banned from every McDonald's in the county. Convicted of animal cruelty, no pets for life. Drunk driving, you can't enter any store that sells alcohol. Hackers, banned from computers. Texters, from smartphones. The restrictions are as creative as the crimes. The idea, disrupt the patterns that lead to trouble. Remove the temptation. Break the cycle. It's practical, but sometimes surreal. Your Big Mac privileges? Revoked. Enforcement is tricky. How do you police a ban on every Walmart or the entire internet? Often it's the honor system with harsher penalties for getting caught. These bans can border on overreach. At what point does a creative sentence become an unreasonable burden? Some make sense, others seem excessive. The goal, prevent repeat offenses. The risk, isolate or inconvenience offenders beyond reason. It's a judicial balancing act, protecting society without going too far. For some it's a wake-up call, for others it's a life sentence of inconvenience. The line between smart prevention and over-the-top restriction is razor thin. In the end, these bans are as much about hope as control, and sometimes they're just plain weird. Now for a punishment that attacks the soul forced, listening to hated music. In Colorado, teens caught blasting loud music were sentenced to an hour of Barry Manilow, Barney, and Feelings, on repeat. The logic, you annoyed the public with your music, now you get a taste of theirs. It's psychological warfare by playlist. Police have used this tactic too, blasting Manilow to clear out loiterers or classical music to deter vagrants. The goal creates such a negative association that you'll never repeat the offense. It's Pavlovian conditioning, but with power ballads and headaches. Critics warn it borders on psychological torture, causing real distress. And what if it backfires? What if the offender becomes a Barry Manilow fan? The punishment is memorable, but controversial. Is it clever justice, or just cruel? Either way, it's a sentence you'll never get out of your head. Sometimes, the worst punishment is a song you can't escape. We return to public shaming. This time, the modern scarlet letter. Offenders stand outside the scene of their crime, holding signs confessing their misdeeds. I stole from this store. I drove drunk and almost killed someone. The punishment links the person, the crime, and the place. Publicly and painfully. For offenders, it's unforgettable. For victims, it's visible justice. But it's also the most debated form of alternative sentencing. Critics call it cruel, degrading, and potentially dangerous. In the age of social media, a photo can turn a few hours of shame into a lifetime of infamy. The punishment can outlast the crime, haunting offenders forever. It raises tough questions. Is justice about shame or rehabilitation? Does public confession help or just destroy? The answer isn't clear, but the impact is undeniable. Sometimes the most creative punishments are the most contentious. The scarlet letter may be gone, but its spirit lives on, in cardboard and marker, and the debate over justice, dignity, and redemption continues. So, there you have it. Chicken suits, forced apologies, etiquette classes, and bans on Big Macs. Alternative sentencing is wild, creative, and sometimes controversial. These punishments challenge our ideas of justice, rehabilitation, retribution, or just plain spectacle. The line between clever and cruel is thin. Which punishment was the strangest? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this dive into weird justice, hit like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.